My dad ordered me to cancel my engagement party so my sister could have the spotlight. I uninvited everyone instead, and the whole family was left speechless. I am 29, and never in my life did I imagine that a celebration as pure as announcing my engagement would turn into a lesson about family dynamics, entitlement, and the importance of boundaries. When I got down on one knee 3 weeks ago and asked the love of my life to marry me, her yes filled me with a joy I had never known before. It felt like the start of a new chapter, a moment meant to be cherished without shadows. My fiancé and I decided that before we started planning the big details of our wedding, we wanted to share that joy with the people closest to us. So we booked a venue, invited our loved ones, and prepared for a night that was supposed to be filled with love and laughter. When I first told my parents about the date, my mother's voice was excited, even warm. She asked about the venue. She wanted to know who would be invited, and she even sounded like she was already thinking about what she would wear. But just when I thought everything was going smoothly, she casually dropped a line that should have been my first warning sign. She said that my sister had some big news that she wanted to share with the family. At that moment, I didn't think much of it because my sister was always in the middle of some big news. A new boyfriend, a new apartment, a new job. There was always something that made her feel like the spotlight belonged to her. That had been the story of our childhood too, where every achievement or celebration of mine seemed to magically transform into a stage for her drama. 2 days later, my father called, and his voice carried a seriousness that made my heart drop. He said my sister had been accepted into a prestigious graduate program, one she had been dreaming of for years. I was happy for her, of course, because academic success was something worth celebrating. But then he said something that made my blood run cold. He suggested that I should postpone my engagement party, at least for a few weeks, so my sister could have her moment first. He reasoned that my engagement could wait because I wasn't getting married immediately anyway, but my sister's announcement was time-sensitive and deserved the family's full attention. I sat there, phone in hand, staring into the distance as his words sunk in. I had already booked the venue, printed the invitations, and cleared the date with friends who had rearranged their busy lives to join us. And yet, here was my father, asking me to step aside, to put my happiness on hold, because my sister wanted the spotlight yet again. He said it calmly, almost like it was the most reasonable thing in the world, but to me it felt like a knife into my chest. Growing up, this was a pattern I knew too well. Vacations had been canceled because my sister changed her plans at the last minute. Holidays had been delayed so she could have more time to perfect her gifts or her outfit. Birthday parties were overshadowed by her tears or her tantrums, and even family dinners were often rearranged to keep her content. My parents were masters at walking on eggshells around her, always afraid of what explosion might come next. And I had learned to keep quiet, to swallow my disappointment, and to play the role of the understanding older brother. But now, as an adult with a fiancé and a future of my own, I realized that old patterns were trying to repeat themselves, and I felt a storm rising inside me. When I told my fiancé about the call, her eyes widened in shock. She couldn't believe that my parents were actually asking me to postpone our engagement celebration because my sister wanted a family gathering for herself. We had spent weeks carefully planning this night, making sure it was special but not extravagant, joyful but not overwhelming. And now, my parents wanted us to throw it all away so my sister could shine. My fiancé looked at me with both sympathy and frustration, and in that moment, I realized that this wasn't just about a party. This was about the future we were building together. The days that followed were like a campaign of pressure. My mom called again, this time softer, trying to convince me that it would mean so much to my sister if she could announce her news without distractions. My aunt sent a long message about family harmony, saying that sometimes sacrifice was needed to keep relationships strong. Even my uncle, a man who rarely reached out, sent a text saying I should do the right thing. Every word felt like a weight on my chest, as if everyone around me was asking me to shrink myself so my sister could grow bigger. But then, my cousin called me late one evening and changed everything. She told me that my sister had been complaining to everyone behind my back, saying that I always got more attention, that my parents had always cared about me more, and that this time she wanted the stage entirely to herself. She had asked my parents directly to pressure me into postponing my engagement celebration. The most insulting part was that she already had plans for her own party the weekend after mine. She didn't actually need my date. She just wanted hers to come first, to be the event everyone talked about before anything else. The realization hit me like a wave. This wasn't about family or timing. This was about control, just like it had always been. My sister wanted to be the center of attention, and my parents were ready to sacrifice my happiness to keep her throne intact. When my dad called me again, his words were coded in ultimatums. He said my sister might not attend my party at all if I didn't postpone. He said family division would be my fault. He said I was being selfish for not supporting her dreams. I listened quietly as he spoke, feeling my anger build with every word. When he finally paused, I told him that I had already made my decision. The party would go on as planned, and if my sister didn't want to come, that was her choice. The reaction was immediate. My mom cried over the phone, begging me not to tear the family apart. My sister called me sobbing, pretending to be heartbroken, saying she had always looked up to me and couldn't understand why I was being so cruel. She said she only wanted one special moment with the family and I was ruining it. But I had heard that voice before. The quivering, manipulative tone that always got her what she wanted. For once in my life, I didn't fall for it. I told her that I was happy for her success, but my engagement party was not her stage. Her tears turned to anger within seconds. She accused me of being jealous of her achievements, of competing with her, of being a selfish brother. When I didn't react, she hung up on me. A week before the party, she sent a group text to the entire family, announcing that she was hosting her own celebration on the exact same night as mine. She booked a restaurant across town and invited everyone, making it clear that they had to choose between us. The audacity was shocking, but in a way, it made things simpler. Anyone who wanted to be at her event could go. Anyone who truly cared about me would show up for my engagement. And on the night of my party, something beautiful happened. Around 60 people showed up. Friends, colleagues, my fiancé's family, and even several relatives who had seen through my sister's manipulation. The venue looked gorgeous. The food was delicious, and the atmosphere was purely joyful. There was laughter, there were toasts, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was surrounded by people who wanted to celebrate me, not tear me down. My cousin gave a speech that brought tears to my eyes, talking about love, commitment, and the courage to put your happiness first. My fiancé's father hugged me and welcomed me into their family with a kindness I had always wanted from my own parents. Meanwhile, my sister's celebration crumbled. Only about a dozen people went, mostly my parents and a few relatives who felt obligated. Instead of celebrating her achievement, she spent the whole evening complaining about me. Guests left early, tired of the negativity, and even my grandmother, who had planned to support her, ended up attending my party instead. My sister posted photos of her small gathering online, captioned with bitter words about real family. My parents tried to call me again, saying I would regret choosing my party over family unity, but I felt stronger than ever. I had chosen myself, my fiancé, and our future over years of manipulation, and for the first time, I didn't feel guilty about it. Months have passed since then, and the dust has settled. My sister is busy with grad school, posting her achievements for others to applaud. My parents still reach out occasionally, but their words are careful, their pressure reduced. And me? I am focused on building a life with the woman I love. Our wedding is set for next spring, and we've decided to keep the guest list small. Only people who truly celebrate with us, not those who come with conditions and drama. The lesson was clear. Boundaries are not cruel. They are necessary. My sister may have wanted the spotlight, but I finally realized that my happiness matters too. And when I refused to play along with her games, my entire family was left speechless.